Welcome back to Learn Astrology with Mary. My name's Mary English. You can find me at www.maryenglish.com, maryenglish.co.uk, and UK Astrologer. Hello. How are you? I hope you're well. Thank you very much for everybody that attended and watched afterwards to the webinar last week, which was on solar arc directions. The webinar video is now up on my YouTube channel. It'll turn up on the first page of YouTube/Mary English. But if you can't find it, it'll be under the tab for webinars. And some very interesting questions were raised, and I think it's a useful technique. I don't know that I would use it for thousands of clients. I think I'd more use it with students to help them learn about their own potential in their chart and the things that might already have happened for them. As I don't know that I'd particularly want to use it as a form of prediction for somebody that comes for a reading. It'd be more a question: what happened to you when you were such an age? But anyway, do go to my YouTube channel and check out the video. Now this week we're going to go back to some basics. I think sometimes you can learn so much astrology and then you forget the boring stuff that you learn right at the beginning. Maybe not so much boring, but the basics of astrology. And one of the things that I twigged after having done astrology for a amount of time, because we get to these twigs and these sort of aha moments when we're studying our own chart or those of other people. One thing I always encourage people to do is to do the charts of their immediate family, and especially their parents, because then you'll understand your family dynamics. And as I've said zillions of times before, I came from a very large family. There were in total were 5 children, and my parents, there were 7 of us at one point living in the house. It's like, I don't know how we all fitted in. And I have always worked on the dynamics between myself and the rest of the family, because one of the things that I don't know if you're going to do this, but what I certainly did as I was learning astrology was understanding those family dynamics. And, why did or didn't I get on with this particular sibling, and what might have been an issue, and all this. And my aha moment, you're taking ages to tell the story, but get on with it. My aha moment was, I've got a Leo Ascendant, and I have a sibling who has Sun in the 5th house. And my aha moment was realising that my Leo Ascendant was exactly the same as her Sun in the 5th. And reversing it round the other way, she herself has a Libra Ascendant, and I've got Sun in the 7th. And when I twigged that, I realised that we were radically similar but different, and the things that had been an issue for us when we were younger, one of which is who's going to have more of the limelight, me or you, which still happens now and never happened between any of the other siblings. It was just between me and her, because the Sun, a Leo Ascendant, likes to, have the limelight, etc. And both of us, incidentally, have done stage work. So this particular sister is a performance poet, and I used to run a folk club, so I'm not quite so good at it now. I used to be able to get up and play in front of people and not feel nervous. Unfortunately, if I do it now, I'm dreadfully nervous. But anyway, that's a different thing altogether. So there's only 2 years between me and that particular sister, so we're not that radically different age-wise. And so, that aha moment happened bazillions of years ago, but it stood me in good stead, because it made me realise that the placement of the Sun in a house, so I'm only talking about the Sun now, I'm not talking about the moon, but the placement of where the Sun is similar to, but not the same as, the corresponding ascendant sign. So I'm going to walk you through the combos. So when you're looking at your chart, your partner's chart, your friends, your family, clients, and their dynamics within their families. Keep this into account. Now, I'm going to use only 2 chart examples today because there are 12 houses, 12 signs of the zodiac, and if I do every one of those combos and I create charts for every one of those, you wouldn't get this episode today. You'd get it in about a month's time, and there would be the combo of 12 times 12, I think is, hold on, I've got to do the maths, 1 minute. Yeah, I had it in my head, I just need to double check, 144. And I am not doing 144 combos. You're going to have to do the homework yourself. So the example charts I'm giving you are about these people tackling life in a similar manner, but not the same. Now, remember, in a course, you've got to have an accurate birth time to even be talking about an ascendant. So I'm reaching out to everybody that was born in England or Wales. That is less likely for you unless you've got some nice member of the family that decided to write it down when you were born. Most other countries, Europe, US, and Scotland, you are going to have your birth time written on your birth certificate. Aren't you the lucky bunny? Because it just doesn't happen to us in the UK. So if there's one thing I'd ever like to see changed before I go to heaven, it would be that the birth time is written on the birth certificate. Wouldn't that be lovely? That'd make astrologers' jobs in the UK so much easier. Anyway, so I'm just going to show you these 2 chart examples to get you to start thinking about the similarities. They're not the same, they're similar. The ascendant is the sign that we return to when we're stressed. So under a considerable amount of stress, we're going to operate through our ascendant sign. When we're happy and fluffy, everything's cool, we're going to operate as our sun in the whatever house it's in, and the moon and all the rest of it. But under extreme stress, 99.9% of people will operate through their ascendant sign because the first bit of stress they ever experienced was their birth. Nothing is more stressful than being born. Now, it could be stress and joy, and it could be excitement, because stress and excitement are similar physical experiences, not mental, because you could be extremely stressed about something, and it is the same physiognomy as excited. So you could have a very exciting birth. So the way you experience your ascendant and your birth could be exciting for you, depending on what your birth experience was like. But quite a lot of the time, but not always, there's a certain amount of stress because you're coming into the world. Birth is a big spectrum of things. But the way you tackle life is 99% always going to be how you are then your next stress is, because your first stress was your birth, then you have another stress later on. You're going to experience the stress in the same way, in the same flavour of your ascendant. So the two charts we've got, so we've got Billy Graham, who was born with an Aries ascendant. So this took me a certain amount of searching on Astro Databank to be able to find someone with an Aries ascendant anyway, with the placements that I wanted them to have. He's got an Aries ascendant, but what I'm pointing out, he's got Sun in the 8th. Now, because it's an Aries ascendant, Sun in the 8th is obviously going to be a Scorpio Sun, okay? Because if we're starting the zodiac and we're doing all of the houses, and I'm talking about the Sun placement, the Sun is going to be in the 8th, okay? The other chart I've got is a lady called Zazie. We'll talk about her a bit more in a minute. She's got a Scorpio ascendant, and her Sun happens to be, because it's the other combo round, she's got the Sun in Aries in her chart, just happens to be in the 6th, because she's got a very, very early Scorpio ascendant. But her way of tackling life is going to be similar to, but not the same as Billy Graham's. They're not even related. They never would have met. Okay, we're not talking about people that are the same. There's a thing in homeopathy, we're not aiming for the same, we're aiming for similar. Okay, So going back to me and my sister, I've got Sun in the 5th and a Leo Ascendant. Sun in the 5th. I've got Sun in the 7th and a Leo Ascendant. And she's got Sun in the 5th and Libra Ascendant. So between the two of us, we've got not only that Sun and Ascendant placement being the same, but we've got it reversed round as well. Yes? Are you with me? Shall I repeat that? So the Sun, a Leo Ascendant is ruled by the Sun. When the Sun falls into the 5th, the Sun is happy there. The 5th house is all about creativity, romance, babies, blah, blah, blah. She's done all those things. I've got Sun in the 7th. It's all about relationships. But she's got a Libra Ascendant, and Libra is about relationships as well. So we've got what's called in Ori astrology a thing called mutual reception. So our ascendants and rulers and blah, 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 they're similar. Yes, it's not about rulers, but I hope I'm making sense. I'm going to have to back up a bit. The ascendant sign is, as I say, stress and all the rest of it, but equally the ascendant sign lets us know where our focus is going to be. It's not how we operate the whole of our life, because we're going to do it in a different way, because we could be a totally different sign of the zodiac. So just some examples in my life. So I have a sister with a Libra ascendant, and her sun sign is Aquarius, which in equal house system then falls into the 5th. I'm married to somebody who has a Libra ascendant, but their sun falls into the 8th, not the 7th, the 8th, but they've got a Libra ascendant because their sun sign is Taurus. However, I myself have Sun in the 7th, and the 7th is like the 7th sign, and the 7th sign is Libra. So husband has Libra ascendant, I've got Sun in the 7th. So we're interested in relationships. As somebody who's born like myself, Sun in the 7th, relationships, close personal relationships is super, super important, which is the same as a Libra ascendant, because Libra ascendant is all about having relationships and being with other people. Yeah. However, I have a friend, a very good friend, who has a Libra ascendant, but her sun sign is Gemini. It just so happens that falls into the 8th using the equal house system. So her ascendant sign is complementary to my sun sign being in the 7th. So we just need to remember the signs of the zodiac, what number are the signs, and then think about where the sun falls into the person's house. And say, me and my sister, we have that mutual reception thing because it's reverse way round. It works both ways round, which did cause, when we were much younger, a certain amount of competition, which Leo's quite happy to be. It's a fire sign. It's a competitive type of thing. Not competitive so much that I'm going to run thousands of miles and kill myself in the process to prove a point, but a fire sign is more competitive than a water sign. Yeah? So we've got 12 signs of the zodiac. We've got 12 houses. Billy Graham has Sun in the 8th house, and the Sun is in Scorpio. So the Sun in the 8th is similar to a Scorpio ascendant, because the 8th house is the 8th sign and Scorpio is the 8th sign. And so that Scorpio ascendant for this other person is completely different now. She's a woman. Billy Graham was I can't remember what religion he was now. Was he a Baptist preacher? Hold it now, let me reverse. Southern Baptist. So he was a minister. And Zazie is a singer, basically. Is that right? Pop singer and songwriter. Couldn't have more different jobs. But the way they're going to, inverted commas, tackle their life is going to be similar, because the 8th house is all about don't come too close. I'm going to go deeply into something. I don't want to do the fluffy stuff. La, 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 la. And she has a Scorpio ascendant. So says, ooh, don't come too close. He's got Sun in the 8th. Ooh, don't come close. They're a similar way of looking at life. And the ascendant sign is how we're going to tackle things under stress. So I am going to give you another example, because I probably messed it up a bit by using an Aries ascendant and a person with Sun in Aries. So let's just give you another combo. Hold on. Okay, so the next example, we've got two people called, one's called Dan and the other called Patrick. So Dan has a Taurus ascendant, but the Sun is in the 4th, whilst Patrick has a Cancer ascendant and the Sun is in the 1st. But that Cancer ascendant and the Sun in the 4th are the same thing. They're similar. So their way of operating out in the world is going to be similar, because Cancer is the sign of the home and the family and cuddles and all the rest of it. And the 4th house is as well. They're not exactly the same. They've got a similar way of doing things. Now we can blow this whole thing apart by the house system that we might use. Whole sign is probably easier, actually, because the ascendant doesn't really so much come into it because of all the signs of the zodiac and the order that they go in. But the location of the Sun in whichever house it's in is similar to the ascendant sign, remembering what number it is. So if I go through all the signs of the zodiac, if you've got an Aries ascendant, that's similar to having Sun in the 1st. If you've got a Taurus ascendant, that's similar to having Sun in the 2nd. A Gemini ascendant is similar to Sun in the 3rd. A Cancer ascendant is similar to Sun in the 4th. A Leo ascendant is similar to the Sun in the 5th. A Virgo ascendant is similar to the Sun in the 6th. A Libra ascendant is similar to Sun in the 7th. A Scorpio ascendant is similar to the Sun in the 8th. A Zazie ascendant is similar to the Sun in the 9th. A Capricorn ascendant is similar to the Sun in the 10th. An Aquarius ascendant is similar to the Sun in the 11th. And Pisces ascendant is similar to the Sun in the 12th. So as I say, they're not the same, but they're similar. So when you're looking at how the whole of a person's life maps itself out, just those two things, providing, of course, that you've got the data and you know them. It doesn't have to be that exact, as long as it's within the 2 Earth things, so you know what the ascendant sign is, so you know how they're going to tackle stuff and stuff. And obviously you're not going to know too sure what house the person's Sun's in if you don't know their time of birth, but it's a useful, interesting exercise to keep in mind when you are looking at a chart. So if we just go back to this Dan parent person, they've got a Taurus ascendant, and they've got, so we've got some other things that are nice for their chart. They've got Venus in the 2nd, because Taurus is ruled, we can look at rulerships as well, the ruler to Taurus is Venus, and the 2nd house is a Taurus-y type of thing, and then they've got their Venus located in the 2nd. Yeah, that's a box to tick. Whilst this Patrick person has a Cancer ascendant, and they've not got anything, so they're ruled by the moon. Their moon happens to be in the 2nd, so it's a similar thing to Dan's chart. It's not the same, but there's similarities there. So it's those similarities that help us, that where's the focus going to be for this person? Where are they going to be orientated towards? So Cancer ascendant is this similar to the Sun in the 4th, home, roots, family, those types of things. Now my supervisor has a Cancer ascendant. It could be more different to my ascendant. Now she's a Sun sign Taurus. I don't even have any planets in Taurus. I got my MC in Taurus, but we had a very, very good working relationship because she's got, I think her Sun is located in the 11th, and she's got Moon in Aquarius, and I've got a couple of planets in Aquarius and stuff, but we never had to deal with anything that brought our ascendants into play, because it was a comfortable relationship between the two of us. But me knowing that she had a Cancer ascendant, I knew that for her the home, the roots, the family were important. Oh, she's actually got Uranus on the ascendant as well, just to complicate matters. But me understanding her chart and knowing where her sun sign's located, the house it's in, which is the 11th, friendship's really, really important for her, stood me in good stead. And even now, because we're still mates, yes, I know that friendship is really important for her, and family, and sometimes she confuses the two and treats her friends like family and her family like friends, etc. Whilst in my case I don't have anything in my 11th house, but it's in the sign of Cancer, and Cancer is a sort of a family type of thing. So when you're looking at someone else's chart and you're doing synastries and things, it's quite easy to say, oh, what have I got in the same sign? But if you look at things separate, how is this person, how are they looking at their life? How are they tackling it? How are they going to cope under stress? Where are their values? Where are those going to lie? And obviously, depending on aspects and conjunctions and all the rest of it, things are going to be slightly altered. But there really is a strong connection between the ascendant sign and the location of the sun in the chart, house-wise, house number-wise. Now, if that didn't make any sense at all, would you be kind enough to email me and let me know? Because I'm very aware that I could waffle on the podcast, and I can sometimes blind people. The expression is blind them with science, but I'm not using any science here. And if it isn't clear, would you please email me and I'll explain it again in another way in another episode. But your ascendant sign, if you know it, is going to be similar to the location of the sun. Now, that's not the same as the location of the moon or Mercury or that, or rulers. I'm not talking about that. We're just talking about the two basics of the chart, the ascendant and the location of the sun. Not the sign the sun that's in, the location of it, yeah. And as I say, there's going to be 144 different flipping combos to it. But if you think of your keywords, I will put the link to the keywords again. So if you want the actual address of the link to the keywords, it's www.maryenglish.com/ and then it's keywords with a capital K, KEYWORDS . And then TXT, because it's a text document. So if you go to that page of my website, you can download for free all the keywords for the signs, the planets and the houses, because when you're learning astrology, there's a lot to remember. And with a lot of my students, I just read out the keywords for me. Just read them out, because there's so many combos of stuff that you can have in a chart. I mean, unfortunately, I've been doing astrology for so long that it's just embedded into my brain how things are. But when you first start, I actually think, oh my God, there's so many different combos of this. How am I ever going to work it out? If you just reduce it down to keywords, it makes life so much easier, and then you can expand on that afterwards. So I hope that's made a sense. I'm going to repeat it again. The ascendant sign, think of the house that corresponds with. So a Cancer ascendant is similar to the 4th house. A Leo ascendant is similar to the 5th, and so on ad infinitum. Think of those things the same. And if you've got two people like I have with my sister, their mutual reception, she has sun in the 5th and a Libra ascendant, whilst I have a Leo ascendant and sun in the 7th. And it's not as if anybody's sat up in heaven and decided to make sure that we were born with those combos. But I think sometimes it's quite, when first of all, when I was much younger, it was pretty competitive between me, and not outwardly. We weren't smacking each other in the face or anything, but we'd get a bit cheesed off of this or that or the other. And I remember, because don't forget I'm younger, I remember once a relative came over, and they were male, and I quite liked this relative, and she was chatting to me, and I said, why don't the two of you just get married? Because the focus with the Libra ascendant and sun in the 7th is about relationships and being in them. People with the sun in the 7th, which is what I am, feel much better when they're in a partnership than when not in a partnership. So think about where your sun is located, what your ascendant is, compare it to other people that are in your family. Are there some mutual receptions? Because that's lush, like there is with my sister. Are there some similarities, like there is with my husband? I've got sun in the 7th, and he's got a Libra ascendant, but his sun is located in a different house, doesn't matter. But his Libra ascendant is very, very similar to my Sun in the 7th. So we like to be able to agree, because Libra is all about agreement. And I've said before about Libra, they don't like arguments, but they're the first to start them. It's okay if they start the argument, but if other people are arguing, Libra, ascendant people, and Librans really, really don't like arguments. So as I say, I hope that's made some sense. Please email me, mary@mary.co.uk, if that didn't, and I hope you have a fab week. And I'll be back next week. Bye-bye now.